go and have a, like, probably purposely drive into his bad neighborhood and get shot.
Well, I didn't really go into the neighborhood at all. I kept it all real normal.
No, it was just very, so what was your mindset then? Like, if you...
Theoretically, with what I did, if I was playing in any kind of timing, you should be able to play the chord progression back. You know what would be a good idea is if you recorded that, I could play those chords over that and it would all match like I'm following the chords.
No,
you saw that,
yeah,
right?
I can actually hear the chord progression of it. I had it going over in my head.
So theoretically, you know, I soloed just in thin air, but I could play those chords to that song, whatever they were, and they would fit into that because of what I was trying to keep it sort of obvious.
Right. No, you did. It was a good job.
And but that, I think, because then you don't need any other guitar players. You just got to hear the chords in your head. Not just outline them, okay, I know it's B minor here, so I have to use these notes. You got to actually hear B minor and hear going down the fifth below that. You can't just do it all by letters and numbers.
Yeah, you can't just go, just play arpeggios over each one.
Yeah, well, that's a good exercise to do, to learn, because that's a lot of what I did in there, but that's a good technical exercise to do it, but you still have to hear the progression.
Right.
The more you hear it, the more you can like wing it and just kind of feel it and go up when you feel like going up and down when you feel like going down.
Right. So that's so you actually so basically your knowledge of what's supposed to be there is your band effectively.
Yeah. The more you know what's going on behind you, the more you can use that, and you won't feel like you're lost. You know what I mean? A lot of guys are like, shit, I get lost all the time. The dude on the street, how do you remember all the notes that you're playing? It's just like, if it's a melody and you hear it, it's not something whether you remember it or forget.
Well, I guess that's why I think what you've hit on the nail. Maybe a good analogy would be that's why some guys are great in a three-piece band and others aren't, because they actually make up for the fact there's not enough. Like if the bass player's just pedaling something really basic, they can actually solo in such a way that they make the listener
imagine progressions that aren't there. I mean, theoretically, if you're a bass player, you're just thumping out E.
Right.
With the melodies that I play, I could impose whatever chord progression all over that.
Right.
And without an actual rhythm guitar player outlining those chords.
Right.
And now all you hear is E, but like with whatever I'm soloing in there, I could totally create the vibe of a chord progression. And that's so important that is like anybody's secret weapon who chooses to use it, because most guys don't do that. They'll just like learn a couple scales.
But it's kind of like the like in the trust thing at the end. Like instead of just wailing your knee, like you just play different. Like you outline different.
Oh, the very ending thing where.
Yeah. Like as opposed to just playing a cheesy E minor pentatonic.
Right. I mean, this would have done. I would have done just fine, but I wanted to like, there's like, so like this is a E major 7 type of thing. So B minor, which is relative to G major. And at the end I did normal. Totally normal thing, like I was saying before, winding up back in the safe territory. But it's all about that, like the more you get into the habit of following chords, it just comes out natural. So you don't want to wing it.
So you would say probably the best exercise to do what you just did is to do exactly what you just did, like imagine a simple chord sequence and then try and create a solo, imagining that chord sequence, so when you listen back to it you still hear the sequence.
Absolutely. And another great thing to do that's kind of an opposite of that is just solo mindlessly on a tape, record it, and make a chord progression to follow that on top of that. So like I could just record it. Whatever it is, and then I come back later and go random chords, and then I might land on something that's really kind of bitchin', something that I wouldn't have thought of normally.
Right.
And by doing that, you're exercising your ears and what your ear is willing and capable of hearing. Because most people, their ears aren't developed enough to like hear these really outside things. You know what I mean? It just sounds like noise to them. But once you develop an ear for that, and you can hear more depth in the note choices that you use, then you can really take your solos outside. But we may be getting really deep into that whole concept. But I mean, people say, how do you get these weird note choices all the time, and where do these notes come from? And we all have the same notes. The reason is because I've developed my ears by doing that, just soloing anything on a tape and doing random chords over it and finding things that I wouldn't have done just by knowing theory, things that I've fallen on by mistake, and then analyzing that and saying, oh, that's why that sounds that way, is because I followed this chord with that, and I did these two chords together over that note. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean? And it's a lot of discovery that way. You'll hear all these weird notes.
So like a lot of it's going to be nonsense, but some of it.
You get a gem in there, and then you say, well, from now on, I'm always going to land on that particular note when that chord comes up. You know what I mean? That's how you hear. You develop your ears like that.
Have you ever done the exact opposite, like just play some wacky chord sequence and then try?
Absolutely. Try to solo over it. You know,
Right.
some wacky chord sequence that wouldn't necessarily sound good. You know, and then just try to follow that. I mean, like, take another thing. You know, it's two chords. You know, like say maybe E and B flat. You know,
Right.
typical kind of heavy metal passage, but nobody would think of following it. Sounds stupid, but I'm following both of those chords as an exercise. Just take two unrelated chords and try to do something that's semi-smooth that follows them both.
I guess the cool thing about like playing just root fifth chords is that you can
decide the
make them
major or minor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have that freedom.
And above and beyond that, you can diminish and augment them and add the numbers to them. You know,
Right,
you can
right.
decide, you know, E is going to be minor. So you can go major to minor like that, and then you can totally.
Right.
Decide all that stuff if there's no deciding factor in there. Even if there is, you know, if somebody's playing a minor chord, doesn't mean you can't play major over that.
Right.
Fuck them.
There's like, do you think this is a degree where you can play something that's really? I remember years ago talking to George Lynch, and like George can go pretty far out.
Yeah.
And he would sit down with the teacher Don Mark actually.
Yeah.
And Don would analyze what he plays. So that's sounding good. Let's analyze it. And then he'd go, no, you can't play that.
Yeah.
But you made it work. So I'll try. And he said that the guy would try and play the same thing, but because he didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Like the guy would land on the same note from the same point, but it was played with no conviction. Do you think there's an element of that involved in music?
Yeah, well, you're talking about a full by-the-book jazzer guy who knows everything. And a lot of rock guys stumble on this stuff, myself included. That's way bitching, but those guys, it's not in their ears to stumble upon.
Right.
You know, and when you analyze it, it doesn't necessarily go by the books and stuff, but anything is legal at any time. You know, your ear has to be developed enough to hear it.
Right.
So.
And if it sounds right to you, you'll play it like you mean to play it.
Yeah, when you play it like you mean it, it doesn't really matter what it is you're playing. You know, if you mean it, you can mean the worst note choice, but if you play with conviction, it sounds a lot better that way.
I remember sitting down with a guy years ago who actually would, like at some jazz seminar, actually, the guy was flat, but one of the best players I've ever seen. He'd be like, find me the worst note I can finish a solo on over this chord, and he'd find it, he'd finish the solo on it, and
great.
he'd make it like it was the only note you could finish on.
Right.